A Russian man walked through the markets of Burkina Faso wearing dark sunglasses, secretly filming poor women as they sold food to survive, but he didn't know President Ibrahim Traoré had already been alerted. After multiple complaints, intelligence units moved in, uncovered shocking footage, and placed him in a cell. A man with dark sunglasses stood in the middle of a busy market, pretending to admire handmade baskets. The women around him were focused on selling vegetables, spices, and fruit under the hot afternoon sun. They did not know the sunglasses were not just for shade. Hidden inside them was a small camera lens, recording everything. He had done it before in other African countries, quietly, carefully, targeting women who worked long hours in open markets, women who depended on daily sales to feed their families, women who would not suspect that a foreign visitor smiling at them was capturing their faces for something else. This time, he chose Burkina Faso. What he did not expect were the complaints. Within days of his arrival in Ouagadougou, local police stations began receiving reports. Market vendors described a foreign man walking slowly through stalls, starting short conversations, asking personal questions, standing too close. Some women said they noticed a small light flicker near his glasses. Others said he kept adjusting the frame as if checking something. Officers took the complaints seriously. A quiet investigation began. Plainclothes police visited the market areas mentioned in the reports. They reviewed nearby security cameras. They identified the man's hotel. Immigration records confirmed his entry into the country days earlier. His nationality, Russian. His travel history showed prior stops in other African nations. Authorities noted a pattern that had been seen before: foreign men arriving with hidden camera devices, filming African women without consent, and later selling the footage online. The file was forwarded to higher security units. President Ibrahim Traoré was informed of the situation during a routine security briefing. A foreign national, an intelligence officer explained, targeting poor women in open markets, using concealed sunglasses camera. Multiple complaints confirmed. Traoré listened without interruption. "How many women?" he asked. "Preliminary review suggests dozens filmed already." The investigation unit had already secured footage from nearby CCTV showing the man moving from stall to stall. In one clip, he leaned over a vegetable display, positioning himself carefully as he spoke to a vendor. In another, he stood across from a fruit seller, nodding while keeping his head steady. Digital analysts tracked his online presence. Accounts linked to him showed patterns of uploading street market encounters in previous countries. Payment channels were being reviewed. Traoré gave a direct order: "Move quickly." That evening, officers surrounded the market area discreetly. The man returned again, wearing the same sunglasses. He walked confidently between stalls, speaking in broken English and gestures. Before he could leave the area, two officers approached him. "Police," one said calmly. "Please remove your glasses." He hesitated for a moment. Then, he removed them. The small lens was visible. He was taken into custody without disturbance. His hotel room was searched under authorization. Inside, officers found storage drives, multiple pairs of similar sunglasses, and a laptop containing folders labeled by country and market location. The footage was still inside. Now, he is being held in a secured cell in Ouagadougou as authorities continue reviewing the evidence. No public statements have been made beyond confirmation of detention. No reaction has come from outside or inside the country. The investigation is ongoing. And this arrest adds to a growing pattern of Russian men traveling to African nations to secretly film women and sell the footage online without consent. The arrest at the market was quiet, controlled, and deliberate. Vendors continued selling tomatoes, onions, and dried fish while officers escorted the man away. There were no raised voices. No crowd gathered. The operation had been designed to avoid disruption. Inside the police vehicle, the sunglasses were sealed in an evidence pouch. A small inspection light confirmed what investigators already suspected: a micro camera embedded in the frame, positioned between the lenses. The device was active. At the central station, digital forensics officers were already waiting. The suspect's name was confirmed against immigration records. His passport showed recent travel across several African countries. His entry into Burkina Faso had been routine. No prior red flags had appeared at the border. Now, that oversight was being corrected. The hotel room search produced more than expected. Officers recovered 3 additional pairs of camera sunglasses, 2 external hard drives, a laptop with editing software installed, memory cards stored inside a toiletry bag, a notebook listing market locations and times. The notebook entries were simple but precise. Main market, morning traffic. West stall section. Older women. Late afternoon, fewer crowds. The pattern showed planning. By late evening, the seized devices were transferred to a secure digital lab under judicial authorization. Each item was photographed, labeled, and logged. Chain of custody documentation was completed before extraction began. The laptop powered on. Folders appeared immediately. Country names, dates, market titles. Inside the Burkina Faso folder were dozens of short clips recorded over only a few days. The camera angle showed women behind stalls, counting money, adjusting their goods, speaking to customers. Some clips included the suspect asking questions in a friendly tone. Others showed him lingering, keeping the frame steady. None of the women appeared aware they were being filmed in a hidden manner. Metadata revealed timestamps matching the complaint dates received by police. The external hard drives contained older footage from other countries, market scenes, street encounters, conversations labeled as exclusive content. File names suggested organization for sale and distribution. Investigators identified payment records linked to online platforms. Revenue transfers were traced to foreign accounts. This was not random recording. It was structured production. At a secured government building, President Ibrahim Traoré received a full briefing from the National Intelligence Director. "Volume?" Traoré asked. "Substantial," the director replied. "He has filmed many women already, mostly market vendors, lower-income workers. Distribution? Evidence suggests he sells footage through private networks." Traoré reviewed still images captured from the extracted files. Women focused on their daily work. Women unaware that their image was being packaged as online content. "This follows the same trend," the director continued. "Foreign men arriving, using concealed cameras, targeting vulnerable women." Traoré's response was measured. "Proceed with full prosecution. Preserve all digital evidence. Expand investigation to possible collaborators." No public statement was issued. Inside the detention wing, the suspect was placed in a secured holding cell. He was informed of the investigation under national privacy and digital exploitation statutes. A translator was provided to ensure procedural clarity. He acknowledged possession of recording equipment. He described himself as a content creator. His statements were documented without commentary. Meanwhile, investigators returned to the markets where filming occurred. Officers discreetly reviewed security camera footage from nearby shops to confirm timelines. They mapped his movements through multiple market corridors. He had moved with intention. Early morning stalls, midday crowd shifts, evening closures. He adjusted his schedule to maximize exposure to vendors who worked long hours. Back at the digital lab, forensic specialists recovered partially deleted clips. Temporary files showed attempts to edit footage before upload. Draft thumbnails had been created, titles prepared. One draft description read, "Raw African Market Life, Exclusive Access." The language confirmed intent. Payment channel analysis continued. Authorities identified encrypted messaging accounts connected to distribution groups. Legal notices were prepared to freeze and preserve relevant data. The case file grew thicker by the hour. Burkina Faso's Justice Ministry initiated cross-border communication with regional partners to determine whether the suspect had similar records elsewhere. Intelligence databases were checked for travel companions or known associates. No additional arrests had been made at this stage. The suspect remained in custody. The investigation expanded. Within government circles, the matter was classified as high priority due to the recurring pattern of foreign nationals exploiting African women for online content without consent. Traoré convened a smaller advisory meeting focused specifically on women's protection measures. Officials discussed reinforcing market surveillance systems and increasing public awareness about concealed recording devices. The objective was prevention, not spectacle. In the detention facility, Routine procedures continued. Medical checks were completed. Personal belongings were inventoried. His access to external communication was restricted under investigative protocol. The developing story had not yet reached public headlines. There were no official press briefings beyond confirmation of detention. No international reaction. No political statements. Only steady procedural movement. In the digital lab, the final extraction phase of the first hard drive completed successfully. A comprehensive index of recorded women in Burkina Faso was compiled for evidentiary purposes. Each clip was time-stamped. Each file secured. Each device logged. The sunglasses camera that had been used in the market was dismantled under documentation. Internal components were photographed for court presentation. The lens was smaller than a fingertip. Its placement had allowed recording at eye level without detection. Investigators added the technical analysis to the case record, highlighting concealment methods used. By midnight, the first consolidated report was delivered to the presidency. It outlined: arrest location confirmed, multiple complaints verified, substantial footage recovered, intent to sell indicated, prosecution in preparation. Traore reviewed the final page before signing authorization for continued detention pending formal charges. The suspect would remain in a cell while legal procedures advanced. Outside, markets prepared to open again the next morning. Vendors would return to their stalls. The routine of daily life would continue. Few knew how many of them had almost become permanent fixtures on foreign digital platforms. The investigation was still developing, and the pattern of foreign men traveling to Africa with concealed cameras was now under intensified scrutiny. By the third day, the investigation had moved beyond simple device seizure and into pattern analysis. Digital forensics teams completed a full mirror image of the suspect's laptop and storage drives. Analysts began mapping the timeline of his activity inside Burkina Faso. GPS traces embedded in media files placed him in at least 5 separate market zones across Ouagadougou. Each location corresponded with clusters of video recordings. Morning sessions showed crowded vegetable stalls. Afternoon sessions focused on quieter corners where individual women worked alone. Evening footage captured vendors counting money before closing. The targeting was not random. The footage selection was consistent. Women in modest clothing, women speaking local languages, women negotiating prices. Many appeared older. Some were visibly tired from long hours of work. In several clips, the suspect asked basic questions about their daily income. In others, he leaned closer, keeping the lens fixed. Investigators noticed a detail. He often positioned himself slightly below eye level, creating an angle that appeared conversational while maintaining full visual capture. Every file was cataloged. Meanwhile, financial investigators traced digital payment records tied to the suspect's accounts. Transactions showed small but frequent deposits from foreign platforms known for subscription-based content. Titles attached to archived uploads included references to market women, real African sellers, and raw street encounters. The monetization trail was now clear. At the Ministry of Justice, prosecutors drafted the formal indictment structure. Charges were prepared under sections covering unauthorized recording, distribution of non-consensual material, digital exploitation, financial gain derived from privacy violation. Legal advisors reviewed evidence to ensure prosecutorial strength. President Ibrahim Traoré requested an updated intelligence summary. The director delivered it in person. He operated alone inside Burkina Faso, the director said, but his content distribution network appears external. Any indication of coordination with others locally? Traoré asked. No confirmed local accomplices at this time. Traoré reviewed still frames again, women focused on their work, unaware of being captured for resale. This is exploitation of vulnerability, he said. Continue full legal process. The directive was procedural, not emotional. At the detention facility, the suspect was transferred temporarily for formal interrogation under prosecutorial supervision. A translator ensured clarity as investigators asked structured questions. Did you inform the women you were recording? No. Did you obtain written consent? No. Did you intend to upload and sell footage? Yes. The admission was recorded in official transcripts. Investigators then presented evidence from recovered drafts and payment records. The suspect confirmed ownership of the accounts. The interrogation ended without incident. Outside the facility, daily life continued without visible disruption. The case had not been widely publicized. Authorities maintained operational discretion to protect the identities of the women involved. Digital specialists continued reviewing restored, deleted files. Some clips showed attempts to blur faces before distribution, but raw originals remained intact. The editing software logs confirmed active preparation for online sale. The sunglasses device underwent technical analysis. Engineers documented its concealed micro-lens design, wireless transfer capability, and battery endurance. The report concluded the device was modified specifically to avoid detection. The findings were added to the prosecution file. At Border Control Headquarters, immigration databases were updated. Additional screening protocols for concealed wearable recording devices were drafted. Officers received internal guidance on identifying modified accessories. The arrest had triggered systemic adjustments. By evening, prosecutors finalized pre-trial detention motions, citing risk of flight, evidence tampering, and cross-border exploitation history. A magistrate reviewed the request. Detention was approved pending full trial. The suspect was returned to a secured holding cell under continuous monitoring. International channels were activated to notify relevant foreign authorities of the arrest and evidence concerning prior activities in other African markets. No formal external response had been issued yet. Inside the presidency, Traore reviewed a strategic memo addressing a broader trend: foreign nationals entering African markets to secretly film women for profit. The memo recommended strengthened intelligence sharing across African nations, public awareness campaigns on hidden recording devices, enhanced legal penalties for digital exploitation. Traore approved continued coordination but maintained confidentiality around operational details. The case remained active. The evidence continued to be processed. The suspect remained in custody. And within official files, the classification shifted from initial arrest to full prosecution phase. The developing story was advancing steadily, without noise, without spectacle, but with complete documentation. As the case moved toward formal trial, the evidence file was sealed and submitted to the court registry. All extracted footage remained secured under judicial protection. Financial records linking the suspect to online sales were attached to the indictment. The Russian national remained in a holding cell in Ouagadougou, awaiting trial under national privacy and digital exploitation laws. His recording devices were permanently confiscated, and his online distribution channels were frozen pending legal outcome. No official reactions had been issued publicly. No external statements had been released. Proceedings continued quietly through the legal system. Within government records, the summary was clear. Multiple complaints received. Investigation confirmed. Hidden camera device seized. Dozens of women filmed without consent. Suspect detained. Prosecution ongoing. The story remains under development.